Hey guys, this is Justine from Wellness in Motion Boston, and today I wanted to talk about SPD, or for the full name, symphysis pubis dysfunction. This is the area in the very front of your pubic bone. You know, if I had a nice little spine demo, it'd be easier to see, where pain can occur. It can occur during pregnancy, from higher impact exercises like running, sometimes even walking, changing positions, being in a car or in that rounded posture like bucket seats can sometimes aggravate. It can also happen postpartum as well, whether it comes from delivery or getting back to exercise too quick. It can be from a whole bunch of things, and it's pretty common in pregnancy. You might hear just say, oh, you got to deal with it and make it through. But, the goal is to try and strengthen as much as we can around the area to make things better, because it's not worth just living with pain if there's something that might be able to help it. So a couple of the strategies I've got today, if you have like an exercise, not like an exercise ball, but anything that has a little bit of give to it, like a dodgeball. You wouldn't want to use a lacrosse ball or anything like that. Or if you don't, a pillow always works. And sometimes I use a little bit of resistance bands to kind of do some counteraction movement. So, and of course, as always, breath is super important, and alignment. You always want to make sure you're inhaling, exhaling, not letting yourself hold the breath. Make sure you're doing belly diaphragm breaths so that you're not feeling it all up into your shoulders. So the first you've probably seen a million times if you've Googled for this at all, but it's a great place to start. I'm going to use my little ball. I'm going to lie on your back. Of course, if you're in your later into pregnancy, it's a third trimester, and things are feeling uncomfortable to lie on your back, only do little bits and pieces of this, be on an elevated incline, or even use a pillow under your neck, any little things that might take some pressure off. We don't want to leave you on your back for too long. And so maybe I should stay angle here. So the first thing I do is you want to make sure you're not like overarched in any position on your back. I always like to kind of get to a neutral spine. You take the ball or the pillow and you just place it between your legs. And you don't want to be squeezing super, super hard, but you want to squeeze just a little bit. And you can play with positioning. Because this ball's a little small, I might have to move it up further. And we're not trying to go too fast. We're trying to, even hold it for 1 to 3 seconds. It looks a little different if you use a pillow. You can even use a foam roller, as long as you don't squeeze too hard, because the surface is a little harder. And the idea is to just kind of keep the alignment, work those inner groin muscles, and work on not allowing that pelvis to keep overstretching on you there. And so that's the easiest version, and then you can kind of keep taking it up a notch from there. And so with that same premises of squeezing, you can do the same thing from a bridge. So if you want to start, I know we have some great videos in the WIM library on bridges. But if you start, you keep that back nice and flat, you squeeze the glutes and lift, and you lower back down. If the bridge feels okay on its own, then you can take that ball or pillow again, and you can squeeze, and after, same position as before, squeeze the glutes up, and then you could add a couple of squeezes while you're in bridge. Aim for 3 to 5, and lower. You could take the ball out and really work through this bridge position where, again, you lift up and maybe you lift one leg. You can see we all have one side that's better than the other. You have to really concentrate doing that when you don't want to let your back kind of fall all around. And the last one I'll show while lying on your back would be, of course, when you're getting up, you don't want to just roll your way up. You want to kind of just nicely turn to your side and lift if you can. Be using a resistance band to almost, instead of thinking about pushing inward, but keeping your hips in alignment, and kind of work like the kind of opposite thought process, but the same muscle group. And then you'll get a little bit of lateral or outside hip at the same time. So I just kind of throw that band on, lie back down. Again, keep the posture back flat, neutral. Squeeze the glutes, even if you can't lift very far. If you're only right here, that's great. If you need to, you can go right here. And so this one, if you collapse in, you're going to notice the band kind of do nothing. So really in this one, it's more just trying to just keep the neutral bridge in alignment. And again, you can lift the leg if you're feeling comfortable. It's a little harder with a band. You can hold it, you can breath. You can even, if you're really having any pain out here, or these guys feel weak, I always love to add a little, you can always even add a little outside pressure. But only as so much as you can handle. And if you're dealing with a lot of severe pain at the pubic bone, we don't want to be adding too much outside pressure. So those are some easy ones from lying on your back, but of course if lying on your back doesn't feel very comfortable, sometimes there's some other versions you can do when you're standing or when you're lying on your side. And this is an old knee rehab, hip rehab, all that good stuff, groin rehab exercise that you've probably seen a million times. But it can also be used if you're having, I always like to work both sides, but this way you work one side at a time. And so comfortably you get on your side. If you need a pillow for under your hip, by all means, you can keep your body propped up. You can get comfy lying down. In pregnancy, I find that it's a lot easier for me to keep my leg back. But when you don't feel as tight all over, you can always leave your leg in the front as well. And so you get in that comfortable position, you work on breath, and you lift and lower that inner leg. And of course, if you're having any hip pain on the outside, the pressure of lying on your side doing this one can be a little much. I aim for 10 reps, and I might try and hold at the top, point the toes. You'll feel it more into the inner thigh than the groin. But as we know, everything's quite connected. And so you can see it from this angle as well. You don't want to be rolling back this way. You want to stay up on it and go to down. Perfect. And one more variation on the squeezes for when if you want to add a squat to it. So this is great if you don't like lying on your back, but it's also great if you want to work on strengthening other muscles at the same time. Make it a little bit harder. And so you find a stable wall. You can go into that 90-degree squat if it's comfortable, and this is where having a bigger ball would be more beneficial so your knees aren't knocking in. Maybe if you have a dodgeball or something like that, but if not, stick the pillow in works just fine because you don't want to let your knees collapse in too much. Keep the back flat, breathe, and do a couple little baby squeezes. Make it harder by sticking your hands out, up, or even just leaving them right at chest. Again, you can hold the squeeze for longer and relax, and just gently come on up. So those are a couple of exercises to work the front of the pelvis. Of course, there's so many out there, but I wanted to start with the basic ones. And if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out to us.